Come down. Oh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. Never have to cut you out like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try to marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they feel strange. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip.
Welcome to Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the company. My name is Michael-Shawn and Christopher. You guys know you can follow me, whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My @ name has not changed. It's also bang right there under my finger at Mike Dugar. For those who I'm referencing my finger because you can see it on YouTube. Seahawks Man to Man is the name of our YouTube channel. That's Seahawks Man, the number 2. Man, it's the same thing on our Instagram, same thing on our TikTok. Make sure that you support us on all those platforms, whether you like, comment, rate, review, follow, subscribe, all the good buttons. Please press them on those apps. It means the world to us. Thank you so much in advance. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at CKIDD206, and that is CKid206.
All right, as you guys can tell on YouTube, I'm in my hotel. It's actually pretty well lit because otherwise, other than this light that I have right next to me, it's dark as hell in here.
So
give
him a preview, cool. Mark. Turn that light off real quick.
Yeah, well, okay. So y'all can see me, right? Like I look pretty. I'm good in terms of like my lighting. You guys can see me. Good. Watch this when I hit this light. It's dark as hell in here. You can't see nothing. So anyway. Shout out to the Athletic, put me up in here in the hotel with good lighting. It's far as hell away from where they're practicing. Have I talked about that on the pod? The distance? No, I haven't, right? Because we haven't.
No, you just told me off wax, but I think it'd be interesting for the listeners to hear the distance that you need to travel just to go in and do your job, Mike.
Yeah. So okay, this is good. This is good, like behind the scenes Super Bowl stuff where we get into more of the game and Kubiak and what I've heard from folks this week. I've been there. So. There's a media hotel, of course, right? And it's right by the media center, which is in San Francisco. The Seahawks are practicing in San Jose. If you're not familiar with the Bay Area, that is, I don't know how many miles, probably like 30 or something. But the Bay Area traffic is bad. It's right up there. As someone who travels the country for regularly, the Bay Area traffic is right up there with DC, LA. It's about as bad as it gets. Seattle traffic on I-5, on a weekday. It's right up there. The Bay is terrible, right? So trying to get 30, 40 miles or wherever is hard enough. Add traffic, and we're on a bus, right? So, and there's a media hotel. I'm not staying there because of logistical things. So I'm about a 35-minute walk to the shuttle that takes another 75 minutes to get to practice. So right now, I got on the shuttle today at 8:30 a.m., and I didn't actually get to practice, or I had to wake up super early to get that. But then I didn't actually get to practice till like 10 because of how long it takes to get down there. So if you guys probably notice on socials, I haven't given much updates on stuff because like I feel like Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness. I'm just running through San Francisco trying to make stuff happen. There was a media party last night or Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night. The last shuttle was supposed to leave at 8. I Ubered to my hotel, put my backpack down, changed clothes real fast. The same Uber waited for me. Got back in it. Traffic was so bad. I got out 3 blocks away from where the shuttle was supposed to be. I'm sprinting through San Francisco downtown at like 7:38. Get there. The shuttle's gone. I'm breathing all hard. I done missed it. I got an Uber like 30 minutes to Redwood City or whatever where the party was. It's just good. It's just crazy. So I'm in transit a lot. If you guys wonder, I'm not giving a bunch of updates and everything. So I've been trying not to complain about stuff, but a lot of people have been asking me how the week is going and like, oh, where you staying? It'd be like, for my Seattle folks, it'd be like if they were practicing in Tacoma, but I was staying in Everett or like Linwood or something like that. Like and you got to get from Everett to Tacoma or like to the military base in Fort Lewis during the middle of the day. It's just it's not ideal. A lot of the other Seahawks riders are staying in San Jose, so they can just walk there. I remember I was talking to Bob Condotta, Seattle Times, like, "Well, Bob, where you staying?" Like, "Oh, San Jose. I can just walk to practice." Wow, that sounds nice. Love the New York Times. Love the Athletic. Glad I'm here on their dime. It's great. No complaining. But people keep asking me about like, "Oh, where you staying? Logistics? You tired? You having fun?" I'm like, yes to all of that. I'm tired, having fun, a lot of walking. I'm seeing a lot of downtown San Francisco. Chris, have you ever been to San Francisco?
Yeah, the wifey and
Oh, you
I
went to the Warriors game.
Yeah, and that was dope. Sorry that Steph didn't play yet again. That's crazy.
That's cool. That's a story for another day. Steph Curry hates me, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that much. Steph Curry doesn't give a damn about Mike. Jesus Christ. But San Francisco downtown, dirty as hell.
Unfortunately.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's zombies all over it. It's everywhere. But I've seen the whole city. I done walked around this goddamn city in the last 4 days. I'm seeing all of San Francisco. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, my logistics stuff. So if you guys like anything I've been writing or anything, chances are I wrote it on the bus. Just like old times. I've been writing on the bus, sitting there in the little Greyhound, chopping it up with everybody. Phone is the hotspot. Writing on the bus, looking out the window and seeing the bridge. So the logistics have been fun. Been an experience here. On top of just we don't have so the athletic football show has a setup on Radio Row. It's great. Beautiful setup. It's like 10 camera people there. Very fancy, very expensive, very clearly. Otherwise, it's not like a workstation. So I just been kind of like sitting at the workstation next to them. There's some company called The Gist. I guess they do like women's sports. They just haven't been using their booth. So I just been stealing their booth every day and being like, nobody's coming. So I'm going to steal these chairs and get some work done. Of course, while I'm working today, someone comes and says, "Hey, this is our booth." I'm like, "Oh, damn. I got to get up. Go somewhere else."
You're too kind, because if it was my ass, y'all ain't been here the last 3 days. I will let you borrow some space. What are you about to do? Nah, I'm kidding. I get it.
Yeah, I was just trying to be nice because it was her space, and so anyway, Mike's having fun. There's a lot of stuff to talk about that's happened in the last few days. We'll get to it. I'll talk about some behind the scenes stuff, more about like what it's been like down here, how the guys have been taking it. We've actually got a lot more access to the coaches, including Clint. So we'll talk about that as well. Where should we start, Chris? I'm trying to think.
I think the biggest one would have to be Klint Kubiak, just because we haven't really touched
that's
on
right.
it since the news has got out. So as you guys all know, it's looking as if it's been reported by everybody that Klint Kubiak, after the Super Bowl, make that very clear, is likely to take the job with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I remember someone asking us that question, I want to say early on in the season, especially if Klint has a good year. And we talked about it. And I remember saying, I think he definitely could get a look depending on how the season goes. And win or lose, he's probably out of Seattle in that regard. And the offense has just been so much better. They've been able to run the football when they needed to, especially later in the season. And I guess throughout the regular season, it really was okay, but you saw the vision. You saw what he was trying to do, and getting the playmakers, getting Rashid Shaheed, getting Torrey Horton the ball before he went out with the shin injury. JSN is probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year. Like, that's what we're talking about. He's put he put an offense that was decent last year, made it good, if not really good this year. And you got to look at the pieces around him, and he's done a fabulous job. I mean, hell, he has Mike believing in the screen game, y'all. In what world does that happen? Like, let's think about that for a second. Mike hasn't been a fan of the screen since, I don't know, 2019. There you go. Ever. 2 years prior to us doing 2 years after we started the podcast. So that says a lot when Mike's like, man, this screen game works. Shout out to Klint Kubiak for fixing it. So that, along with offensive line, he's done a really good job. And I guess I'm not surprised that he's potentially leaving, but at the same time, it's like, damn, you taking that job? Like, Las Vegas is not good. There's a reason why they have the first overall pick, or will likely get the first overall pick, which will be Fernando.
They have it.
There you have it. They're not going to trade out of it. So with that being said, I guess it's a great opportunity for Klint. And Mike, you've been covering him all season. I know you've gotten a lot of questions, whether DMs or people just asking you, like, "Hey, is he ready to be a head coach?" And I think that the answer is yes. Mike Macdonald alluded to that in terms of his personality. What you see is what you get. He doesn't behind closed doors. He's not someone else. He is the exact same way in the locker room. That's who he is. And that's great to see. And I'm not around the guy, but for the most part, the offense is doing well. So he seems to have something working because that team believes, the offense believes in him. The players trust him. So whatever's working is clearly a thing. And then he must have interviewed well on top of that. When he spoke to the Raiders and all these other teams, they must have been like, you know what? We like the vision. And he's learning from a great head coach in Mike Macdonald, who's only in his second year, but the culture that he's built, I'm sure that rubbed off on Klint Kubiak as well. Even though it's only been one season, it's just been fascinating to see the growth and how this team and this offense is surrounding him, and they believe it. So I guess you guys shouldn't be too shocked about the news, but well deserved if Klint, in fact, does indeed go to Las Vegas as a new head coach.
Let's start with the job, because you're right, the quality of the job, and it's not a Raiders podcast, but I don't think it's a good job. I also would take it if I was Klint Kubiak. I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but there's only 32 of these. You don't get that many opportunities. Like, even if I was to tell Klint, wait, it's like, okay, which job are you waiting for? Like, a lot of good jobs, or what I would classify as good jobs, I think aren't going to come open or just came open and got filled by someone else. Like, I would tell Klint, take the Steelers job. Can't now. I would tell Klint, take the Ravens job. You can't now. I might even tell Klint, take the Falcons job. Well, you can't now. Right. So let's say if he was to wait, who are the other bad teams? Let's see here. Let's go to the standings. Who do we think, Chris, if Klint was to wait, would be bad next year, to the point where they're firing their coach? Let's
The
see.
Bengals.
Yep, Bengals. What about Indianapolis? Yeah, they could fire if that bottomed out. They could fire Shane, right? You think so? Shane Steichen.
Yeah. Well, didn't they just extend him too? I mean, I don't mean they're not gonna fire him.
That doesn't matter. They just extended Mike McDaniel in Miami. He got the boot. Like, you can get the extension and bounce. So
dug myself out of the hole there, didn't I? All right.
Yeah. So I think that's one that could be open. Aaron Glenn's probably out of there in New York, but I don't even know if I would tell Klint to take that. Like, that's not the job you wait for. You know.
No.
Who else? They could fire Nick Sirianni in Philly next year. I could, if that just was to bottom out, could see that. That would probably be the only job I'm looking, unless they were like to fire Shoddy or something like that.
What about the Packers? I know.
Cool. Yeah. To your point, they just extended LaFleur and everybody. But you're right. That's another
If
one.
they have if injuries or something pops up and they end up going like 7-10, would it be 7-11?
Yeah, I could see
7 and
that.
10.
And
My
then,
bad.
yeah. So otherwise, and unless they like got rid of like Dan Campbell, but I don't think they would do that. So I don't even see a world where that happens next year. So really, the only jobs that I think, if I was to tell Klint, oh, just wait, it's like, what, you really, in my mind, the realistic one is hoping that they would fire Nick Sirianni and you take the Philly job. Maybe it's the Niners bottom out and they fire Kyle Shanahan, and then you take that, because I would take that if I was Klint. But it's like, I just don't feel strong about either of those, although Sirianni could happen. Anyway, so the job is not great, but I would take it. Okay, well, Mike, why is it not great? It's not even because of the roster or because it's the Raiders. It really is because of who you're working for. I've been hearing that like Tom Brady loves, like, hearing down here in San Fran. I've been hearing that like, oh, Tom Brady loves him. What do Tom Brady know about running a team? Nothing. So 1 year running the team, they stink. just being the GOAT at quarterback don't make you a good executive. He's not around the team as often as people who actually run the squad. He live in Miami. He's co-running the team from Miami with no experience. And his only year running the team, they're ass. Why should I listen to you? Now, Spytech, the GM, he's got a real track record. You could maybe get on board with that. So that'd be why I think the job stinks. Because I would just wouldn't want to work for Brady. There's nothing that says right now, no data to suggest working for Brady means you're going to be part of a successful organization. It's just nothing to suggest that. And who you're working for matters more than the roster, draft picks you have, if you got a good ownership team like the Seahawks do, it's a good job. So next thing, how does that affect the Seahawks? Great question. Um, from what I've gathered from people this week, it really does feel like business as usual with these guys. It's like Clint's been preparing. They got the game plan in. It sounds like they got a lot of it in before they flew out here. They've been fine tuning stuff this week. They practiced. This is Wednesday. We're recording this. They practiced today. They did not practice Tuesday. The plan is in. They like the plan. They feel good about the plan. It's normal as if they were playing on Sunday and any other week. And it just doesn't feel that different. That's for the game itself. And I thought what Klint Kubiak said to Greg Bell, I was standing there too, but it was Greg's question, so I'm going to give him credit. This was on media night. And we talked to Clint. He told Greg, he was like, Greg asked if this is going to be a distraction, like interviewing for jobs and stuff like that. And he was like, it's not a distraction because I didn't put that much time into interviewing and preparing for interviews. He was like, I did all that in the summer of like how to get ready for these jobs. And when I do the interviews, I'm just being me. This is what Clint was telling Greg. And he was like, I learned from my dad, Gary Kubiak, longtime head coach in the NFL. His dad told him, man, you better not be sitting in your office thinking about interview questions for the next job. You better be in there trying to win. Your tape is your resume. As your team go out, like you just said, Chris, you rattled off like that and got the O-line right. They're running the ball. Jackson's going crazy. That's the resume. Whatever he tells Mark Davis and his funny haircut, that don't matter. It's like, okay, what happens when you pop on film of the Seattle Seahawks? You see guys getting open. You see guys finishing blocks. You see guys on the same accord. You see guys making explosive plays. The Raiders, that interview is probably short as hell. They probably ordered some steak, some fancy wine. Mark Davis and his weirdo haircut sat down and said, Clint, when can you start? He was probably like, Monday, February 9th. And they were like, cool. But have the finance department reach out to your agent. We'll draft a contract. All right, cool. Bring the bottle. That's probably exactly how that went. But in terms of how it affects the guys for the game itself, I just got no sense on or off the record that that part matters. Okay, cool. Part 3 of this. Now we get to, Chris, how it affects the team. This is actually pretty fascinating because Clint's probably going to take some guys with him. There were a lot of guys who joined the staff because they have some connection to Clint. Rick Dennison, Justin Otten, Jake Peets, passing game coordinator, John Benton, the O-line coach. So I do think that is a legitimate concern because it wasn't just hiring Clint that made this work. It was the entire staff. How many dudes do they have with run game in their title? At least like 3. You got to imagine Clint takes at least one or 2 of those guys. So you got these in-house candidates to promote. Justin Otten, you can promote Jake Peets. You can look externally. I think you're going to not have a great pool of external candidates because by the time you're looking for guys on February 9th, there's not that many guys available. So I think that's going to be an issue. There's no one people have been asking too, like, oh, who do you like out there? No one really. I've seen like people suggest to me like Arthur Smith. I don't like that, but whatever. He does know how to put together a decent offense. Mike Kafka, who I don't think has a job at the time of recording. Is there anybody else, Chris? I missed that people floated around as being the OC. I can't think right now.
I have to look it up as well, but I know we mentioned in-house Pete staying potentially, but if they're looking outside of that, let me see what they got. Let's see.
I don't feel great about the candidate pool out there. I really don't. So, yeah, I mean, you can promote internally. That's probably where I would go. That'd be my plan. It doesn't seem like from talking to people here that anyone wants to even get into that. Like I've talked to some people and they're just like, we're focused on the game. Like we'll worry about that when we get there. I asked Kubiak if he's even taking the job. I was like, yo, you about to become the coach of the Raiders? He was like, yeah, I'm focused on coaching these guys. I've been dreaming of coaching in this game. That's all I'm really focused on. Great answer. A lie. That's not all you're focused on. Apparently you've agreed to coach the Raiders. So for at least a little bit, your focus shifted. Perfectly fine. Again, I don't think it's a great job. I would take it. Because you know what? The Raiders probably offered that man like $15 million a year. Look here, buddy. I said there's no reason to go believe that working for Tom Brady is a good thing. I lied. Sorry, y'all. There is a good reason. If they offer me like $75 million, I will stop this pod right now, get up, won't even say nothing to Chris, and walk right out that goddamn door and go for Tom Brady if he offered me $75 million to go coach the Raiders. So that is probably why I would have taken it. But I think that the good thing about it, while the candidate pool is not wide, I think the good thing about this job is that it's very attractive. Like if I was an offensive coordinator candidate right now, Chris, and I'm talking to like whichever team still need one, and the Seahawks are a possibility. Oh, I'm waiting until February 9th so I can talk to Macdonald. This is an attractive job. It was a good organization for now, good ownership. Maybe we can talk about that too. We got a stable ownership, good general manager, good young roster, ton of pieces. You might be coming off a Super Bowl win. If I'm any attractive candidate, I would definitely take. I would wait. I would wait before I talk to other teams and be like, "Yo, I like y'all, but let me talk to Mike Macdonald to see." And Chris just messaged me and mentioned another name, and Greg Roman that's been out there. And boy, I can't think of a worse idea. They should definitely not do that. Absolutely not. Greg Roman is like the Pete Carroll of OCs right now. His heyday is in the past. Did you guys see the offenses that Greg has put together in the postseason the last few years? Yeah, no, we will not be doing that. Who else we got? Who's this guy? Oh, the Rams pass game coordinator. Yeah, I'm cool.
A disciple of. Oh, it didn't work well once. Mike said, "I'm good." Shane Waldron remix, baby, and that is Nathan
I like
Shieldhouse.
Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Shane. I'm guessing. I'm just trying to sound it out. Shieldhouse. I could be completely wrong, so we're going with Nathan S. Nathan S. We'll go with that, and Mike is out. So you know what, Mike? I don't know who you would want outside of Pete's. Maybe Hank Fraley.
Who's that? What's he do?
He was in the, let's see, last year he was offensive line coach. Was he not? Let me see. Hank Fraley. I'm about to just Google it now because clearly that didn't give me the answer. Hank Fraley last year. He was.
That name.
Oh yeah, he was offensive line coach for the Lions. That's what it was.
Oh, that cat. Yeah. Nope. I mean, maybe you never know, but I'm just not feeling the options here. I think the good thing is, last thing on this is that I do trust Mike Macdonald to find the right person. Maybe not the person who's just going to be immediately good right away, but I do think he's going to find the right person. I think he just knows how to evaluate people. Mike does. I think the Ryan Grubb thing was not like a bad. Like, he didn't get a bad person. Grubb was actually a nice guy, really accountable, just not a good NFL OC. I think they'll be fine. It's an attractive job. Mike's going to get the right guy. Is that the last thing on Kubiak?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, last thing. Sorry. Last thing before we go to the next topic. It has been fascinating to talk to guys who are on this offense about whether Clint will be a good head coach. They love this guy. They love this dude. They will run through a wall for Klint Kubiak. So fascinating. And it speaks to, I think, and me and Ted Wynn, who's at The Athletic, there's a great work. We were talking about this yesterday. It was like, piggybacking off what Kyle Van Noy said about this generation of players. Yeah, the rah-rah guy is great, but what these guys really like is people who know ball. If you know ball, they'll believe in you. It's that simple. Yeah, if you rah-rah them up too, that's great. But really is like, Clint's like the type of dude who, okay, fourth down, whatever. Here's our plan, guys. We're going to run this, and this will work. You're going to be put in this position because you're good at this. You're going to be put in this position because you're good at that. Okay, this is the coverage you're probably going to get. And if so, this is how we'll attack it from this hash and this situation. If we get this coverage, we're probably going to go here and do that. You do that, and you do that because that's what you're good at. That's what you're good at. That's what he's good at. Ready, break, and explain all that. in a more fun way than I just did. And that's what guys like. It's like, put me in position to do my job so I can eat, play the game I love, get paid, and get famous, and get invited on the K Adams show. There we go. That's what I want. I haven't got the invite. It's a little salty. I don't know Kay, but I believe she's here interviewing folks. But
She's
like,
here.
that's
MJ was going crazy about her.
Oh, she's there. Yeah. It's weird. Radio Row big as hell. I'm seeing all these people that are here. I was like, I ain't see y'all. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, I saw like Ian Rappaport and them. I think their show is here. Haven't seen them. I also haven't been looking. I've been too busy on that bus. I was telling y'all. But it does feel like, Chris, it's gonna be difficult, I think, to like immediately replace Clint, but I do trust in Mike to do it. And it is a big loss. These guys credit Clint a lot with, I think the one thing that I really credit Clint for, or two, I would say the run game improving as time went on, as he was telling us it was going to do for a while, and why it was going to start to click. And then the other thing is, and this gets into the game preview, everybody knows that Jax is going to get the ball. And teams have tried so many different ways to limit him. The only team that succeeded is Minnesota. We've got now what? They've played 19 games or something like that. We got one team that was able to take away Jax. That is Klint Kubiak and his guys. To being like, okay, they're going to take away our number one dude. Here's our plan for that. Not to just get him the ball, but get him the ball in spots where he can be explosive. And it's not just him. That's why I say Clint and his guys. I think that's important because you could tell he really cares about empowering his dudes and taking in suggestions. So, for instance, someone asked him the other day, what's your favorite play this season? He said, Jax's touchdown against the Jaguars. The post route beat him. It's a quarters beater. Great. When explaining why, he was like, Mac Brown did his dang dialing that up. Mac put it in, worked hard on it. We repped it. We got it to a good point in practice. It got up on the call sheet. And when we called it, it got executed just like practice. He was like, shout out to Mac Brown. And it really stood out to me because it's the same thing Mike Macdonald does. When something good happens, he really empowers his guys to feel like, hey, you were a part of this thing. I'm the head coach, but like, AD, you've been good at this. Chris Partridge, you've been good at this. And probably one of my favorite moments of media night in terms of a coaching exchange, when I ran into Mac Brown, another coach introduced me to him. It was like, hey, this is Mac. This is Michael-Shawn. I said, Mac Brown, I got a story for you, man. I just talked to Clint. Let me tell you what he said about you. It just happened. So Mac hadn't heard that. Mac lit up like I was giving a toddler a toy. It's like, wow. Clint really said, that's fire, man. He was like, thank you. He didn't say fire. But I don't know if you guys can Google Mac Brown. He's not the type of person to say that's fire. I guess, stereotyping a little bit, but he just enjoyed hearing that. And I've been doing that all year with guys, like reading them quotes that their teammates have said about them and stuff like that. It's been cool. But that stood out to me with Clint because those are the type of guys who go far. It's knowing like, yeah, it's my job to have the answers, but sometimes Mac might have the answer, or Fitz, our receivers coach, might have the answer, or whoever might have the answer. I'm just looking for good answers. I'm looking for good plays. So I'm happy for Clint that he's going to get this opportunity. It's a bad job. I hope he succeeds in it. And the Seahawks are not going to be, it's not going to be easy replacing him, I don't think, Chris. This guy is a really good OC.
2 seasons ago when he was doing his thing with the New Orleans Saints, that was the writing on the wall. Because everyone was like, how is this guy doing it? Unfortunately, everyone got hurt on that roster. So we saw what happened to that offense. But when guys were healthy, they were one of the top offenses that first month, 5 weeks into the season. The Saints were just play action passing, deep shots, running the football effectively. They were on a roll. So I guess that was a sample size. And Mike Macdonald did his research, believed in what he was doing. And you saw that with the Seahawks, and it lasted throughout the whole season. A healthy team. They made it through it. They did obviously lose Torrey Horton, but you know what? John Schneider got in his bag and decided to go out and get another piece. That piece became Rashid Shaheed. He's been phenomenal in the special teams, and he's been solid on the offense. He's had some really strong plays. So, yeah, this is just a credit to the entire organization that they had a vision and they stuck to it and they did what they needed to do to succeed. And now from that, the opportunity is with Klint Kubiak, who is now basically about to be a head coach in the NFL after a couple of seasons of being an offensive coordinator. He's earned that opportunity. So yeah, best of luck to him. I know, as Mike and I have talked about, it's not the most intriguing job, but maybe he can actually turn things around down there in Las Vegas. And for those fans out there, maybe they can turn into what they once were, which was a formidable team here and there. And that was what, in the 70s, 80s. It's been a long time since the Raiders have been good. So hoping that he can turn that around if everything does go according to plan in terms of Klint Kubiak getting that head coaching job. But another thing Mike wanted to discuss was some of the experiences out there from the interviews with the head coaches and whatnot. And I know just from watching the clips, not clips, just watching the press conferences on YouTube and seeing how excited Mike Macdonald is, but you know how Mike is. He's Mike Macdonald. He's not going to really say a lot, but at the same time, he's going to say a lot. So just seeing that process of Mike Macdonald being in this spotlight of being the head coach of a elite defense, and people just like, Mike, can you talk about Nicky Manwari? Mike, can you talk about Leonard Williams and him just lighting up and being excited to talk about this team because, man, they have been dominant this season. They have done a phenomenal job from OTAs all the way up into this point now where they are 60 minutes away from capturing their first Super Bowl. So it's been just a really good season for them. And Mike, I know we lost you for a sec, but can you talk about some of the experiences you had in interviewing Mike Macdonald and other players and coaches since you've been down there in San Fran?
How long did you lose me? This internet just I credited the lighting and then
About maybe
internet's
90
bad.
seconds.
Oh, okay, not bad. Okay.
Yeah, I just
so
feel
yeah,
man, it was great.
no, I can't wait to listen back to it. I'm sure you did great. Yeah, there you go. One shining moment. You said just interviewing people down here about the game.
Interviewing and
Um,
about the game, talking to Mike Macdonald. Although, if I had to guess, Mike probably wasn't at a bunch of Mike Macdonald pressers. If I had to guess, he was really writing stories. So, but I'll let you go ahead and take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think like going to Super Bowl week and spending a lot of time at a Mike McDonald presser is like going to the strip club and hanging out by the bathroom. Like it's just not really why you're there, you know? Like I rock with Mike, but him at the podium is not like riveting content for me. I can watch the video later while I'm on that bus. I can just never watch it. I was in there for like 3 questions today, and I was like, I'm out of here, man. I'm good. Like someone asked, like, oh man, why has it been so important for your no, someone asked, why is defense so important to winning or something like that? I was like, I'm out of here. Like I said, what are we doing, man? Like, come on. This is why Mike needs to speak for an hour every day so he can get asked why defense matters. I'm like, all right, bet.
Question for you, Mike. Did you see Softy's tweet? He took a picture.
I did not.
So Softy took a picture of the auditorium where Mike Macdonald was having his presser. And I'll quote Softy, big crowd for the best coach in the NFL. And there's a couple empty seats in there. And in my head, I was thinking about what you were talking about just now about being at a strip club and just hanging out by the bathroom. Like he's not really saying much that Mike really cares to write about, or there's just nothing that he's giving you. So when Softy tweeted that out, I'm like, Softy, are you really getting anything from these? Or are you just, that's just the best coach in the NFL because obviously he's been in Seattle. They're playing dominant, but is he really giving you anything that you're like, oh, I gotta have that audio? And I guess that might be how people feel because you look in the photo, there's a few empty seats in there. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, Mike. I was looking for you and I was like, he ain't in that.
Probably not. I was in the back so I can get up and leave. Because it's not even that like Mike's bad. Also, just the questions no one knows him well enough to ask him anything beyond the surface level or requires him to say anything insightful. So for instance, someone asked him today, like, how does Josh Jobe go from, practice squad guy to starting? Well, I know the answer to that. And I've been writing about that. We've been talking about that on the show. I don't need to stand around and watch Mike Macdonald give the answer. someone asks like, "Oh, what, how's your defense, or how integral has it been, or something like that, for your defense to be able to rush with 4 and not blitz?" Oh, great! I'm just gonna go do something else. I just don't need to be around this. So I spent a lot of time talking to people that I don't usually talk to, players I don't usually get a chance to talk to, coaches I don't usually get a chance to talk to, and it's been great. So I want to talk about, the first thing is how they're approaching the game. The Seahawks are, as crazy as it sounds, they are treating it like it's a normal game and a normal practice cadence. They are, like I said, the game plan is in. They're going over stuff like normal. Some of the stuff, the training stuff, and like getting guys' bodies right. You got to like fly that stuff in, or just make sure the facilities are right. I think they're practicing at San Jose State, so that's different. But in terms of like the game, it's normal. Obviously, you have some outside stuff in terms of people coming in and making sure their families are there, wives, kids, maybe your high school coach, some girls you met on Instagram, whatever. You just got to make sure they're there and got their tickets, their seats, their hotels, whatever. But other than that, they treating it like normal. It's football, like they've been doing all year. But it was good to see that they've been treating it like that. I mean, some guys are just like hype legitimately about just the experience. Like, yo, I'm in the Super Bowl. Even talking to, I sat there with Drew Lock for a few minutes today, while someone from, I think, the New York Post, maybe a New York person for sure, interviewed him for like 5 minutes, and just hearing Drew, the excitement in his voice, like, oh man, I'm in the Super Bowl. That's really cool. And Drew's not going to play, he probably won't play, but it's just stuff like that where guys are just very happy to have this moment, but also like, it's still, when the ball kicks off, it's just football. We're gonna go out there and handle our business. So there is that. I haven't seen anybody. I haven't, on or off the record, I haven't gotten any sense that like anyone is not gonna be ready for this moment. And so that's one. Number two, the level of preparedness is just crazy. Like, guys are talking about this plan and that plan and the stuff they've found on film. I can't share that type of stuff, unfortunately, but it's the level of detail that they're going into, just all the tendencies. It's not anything different than a regular game, but just, it feels like this week guys have been more open to share. But like, yeah, nah, like, we're going to do this. They put this on film, so this is how we're going to counter that. I'm like, okay, the plan is good. I mean, I wouldn't tell them if it was bad. I ain't that bold, but they telling me to plan. I'm like, this is great stuff. And I bring up the plan because, Chris, these guys are confident. It's like an earned confidence. I was talking to a guy today, and he was like, it's just like, Mike, we've come too far. We want this bad, real bad is how bad, like we just, and I made the point to him. It's like, it's almost like boxing. Sometimes if I was going to bet on a fighter, I'm just going to bet on the guy I know that just doesn't want to lose. Like, he just can't lose. And Chris knows I will go gamble on some boxing. I will definitely call Chris the day of a fight and ask him about 2 fighters I've never watched and say, Chris, who's about to win? Who should I put some money on? He'll give me an explanation, and then I'll make a judgment call accordingly, and hold myself accountable, not Chris. But he definitely be like, yeah, I think this guy will win. Cool. Money goes on him, because I'm looking for the dude that just don't want to lose, can't go back. What's my man name? Is it Bud?
Yeah, Bud Crawford.
Yeah. He had that rough upbringing, right? Like, stuff with his mom was bad, and he's from like Nebraska or something like that. Black dude from Nebraska. I got that right? He's
black dude from
like,
Nebraska. I don't know about the mom stuff, but he definitely from Nebraska.
You gotta Google him when we're done. I Googled him. His upbringing was rough, real rough. Yeah, he one of them dudes who he not about to lose, because that's just not in his lifestyle, is taking L's. It's just not. He was bred a different way. And that's kind of, the Seahawks are like Bud Crawford out here. They're going into this like, we just worked too hard. We've been through too much to go out here and just not be us. And that's the other thing. The other like vibe I'm getting is that, just like every other game, it's like they just know if they be them, they'll handle business. I'm gonna do nothing different. If they go handle business and just play their normal ball, they'll be straight. I was talking to somebody today, and I was like, yeah, it's crazy, because you're right. Like, when you guys lose, it ain't like, a bunch of bad stuff happened. He was like, yeah, we lost. Before I could even do the math, he was like, we lost 3 games this year by 9 points total. Like when we do us, we handle business against the good teams, against the bad teams. And that's one person of like 70, but the general sentiment was very, very common throughout the little week of time I've been talking to guys here, coaches, players. It's been very much the Patriots are good. They're well coached. That's actually, Chris, that's the other thing I should bring up. Well coached has been the biggest phrase. That's the first thing everybody's saying. Players, coach, like, yo, when we turn on the tape, that's a well coached team. That's a disciplined team. Not a lot of penalties. Guys are in position. Like it's just a well coached team. And they're like, so are we. It's crazy. They just told this line between cocky and confident. It reminds me of, and he's gonna love this shout out. Chris and I play flag football with a dude named Taryn. Taryn is cocky. he let Taryn tell it. He gonna step on the field and he's gonna go for 200 yards. And as Chris knows, we all play flag together. There is no referees. There's no stats. There's no next gen anything taking like account how we are performing. You come up to Taryn and ask him how he's been doing in the game. Like, yeah, man, I got about 6 catches, about 85 yards. Granted, we're playing with no lines. There's no lines on the field. Yeah, I got about 85 yards, about 6 catches. Like, because he carries himself that way. Very cocky. Love playing with Taryn. Funny guy. Great. And like a shout out to him. The Seahawks are not that. The Seahawks are more so like, we don't care what the stats are. We're just gonna play our game and then we'll win. Hopefully, you, Chris, you know Taryn. Hopefully that analogy made sense just now.
It made perfect sense, and I've actually DM'd Taryn like multiple times about the exact same thing. Like, because Taryn is and he's also if you had a teammate that was just always saying everyone's trash, like everyone's trash when you are on his team. You could be the best player on the field. When you're not on his team, you're trash. And he'll talk to you like that. You could be killing, and he'd be like, you're doing good, but your team is trash. And you're okay today. You're lucky. Like he is funny. And I'm sure the Seahawks have that type of player that, I guess Spoon would probably be in that realm where everybody is trash. Because Spoon will talk to anybody. I think he did give some respect to Devontae Adams in that first matchup. He was like
Spoon's pretty respectful. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
not to say that Taryn isn't, because Taryn will give you respect. Like he does. Like if he knows you're one of them, he'll be like, "Yeah, that was solid. You're decent out here." Like he'll do stuff like that, and that's kind of what Spoon does. Like he gives respect when he feels you've earned it. He's not gonna give it to. Like I've heard hot mics on Spoon. Okay, he's out there talking crazy to folks, and I don't blame him. He's a violent young man, but on the Taryn point, you nailed it, Mike. That is. I might have to clip it just for him, just so he can get a laugh out of it.
Yeah, just send it to him. Yeah, because I think what the Seahawks are more closer to, you know what? This is a great way to put this. The Seahawks embody Jax, right? Where like the Week 18 game is a perfect example. Diamador Lenore pops his stuff, which he has the right to do. I like Lenore. I love that he talks his stuff. It's great. Cool. It makes for good rivalry content. But you see how Jax carried himself. He's like, yeah, I heard that. I'm not really worried about that. And then he goes out, does his stuff, and then then he talks about it and says, yeah, I mean, I can't reply to all my fans. I knew we was gonna see him. I knew what type of time we was gonna be on. And and that's it. And that's kind of the team. The team is more so like, yes, we're aware of the discourse. We're aware of anything outside of this. We're aware of how good the other team is. But we're us. And we go out there, just go handle business. And then we'll talk trash later. Like later, after we've actually put in the work and delivered. So it's not an overconfident thing, but it's definitely I feel a confidence from them. They've watched the tape. They've seen the numbers. They found the wrinkles and worked on the scheme. And it's just an overall just belief in who they are, not just a disrespect to who the Patriots are. Because I've never really heard them preview an opponent and talk about how well coached they are in a while. Like this is the type of stuff I usually hear when who's some good coaches around the league, Chris? Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh. Like when they play teams like that, you usually hear the words like well coached, disciplined, tough. That's what they're saying about the Patriots. But now I think about it, Chris, they ain't saying nothing about the talent. They said nothing about the talent. Maybe that's just, uh, a slip. Like it's not on purpose, but it does feel like, they're well coached. We're well coached. We're ready to go kick some ass. I really get that sense too from the defense. This is a very confident. I mean, that's nothing new. I'm not breaking news on the show. The defense is confident, duh. But like to feel it ahead of the Super Bowl, there's no nerves. There's no like all these different things we got to do to just like, nope, we just be us. We'll win the game. It's just crazy to see.
And they've earned that because they've been so freaking good throughout the season. Yeah, they've had their ups and downs. That's just the flow of the season. But when they needed to, as I mentioned, I think it was 3 podcasts ago, we got a question about at what point did you realize this team was Super Bowl bound? And I mentioned the fact that this season specifically, they didn't lose games to bad teams. And that's kind of been a Seahawk, a C thing, kind of like what you said, a Seahawky thing that has been something that they just did. Like on the schedule, they play, I don't know, the Giants, a bad football team. The past 5 to 7 years, they haven't been good. And the Seahawks have them scheduled. And everyone expects them to win, but for whatever reason, in the back of our minds, we're like, that's a game they could just lose just because. This season, they didn't have that at all. Now, were there games that were close to a bad team? Yeah, the Tennessee Titans, a perfect example. That was a game that was closer than they would like it to be. You know what happened that following week? BTA, belt to ass. They whooped up on the Vikings, then went to Atlanta and packed up those guys as well. And that just showed me that, this team is they're beating the bad teams, which allowed their point differential to be so elite, plus 190 and some change. So that for me was like, okay, this team is really about it. Because in years past, they would have lost one of those games. And Seahawks fans would have been DMing Mike and saying, oh, this team is the same as it always. They didn't do that this year. They turned the corner in that term. They beat the bad teams, whether it was by 30 or, had a rough week against the Tennessee Titans and won by 6 or 7 points. You got to see that throughout the season. I mean, their 3 losses were who? The Niners, Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Rams.
The Bucks when they were good.
That is true. The Bucks when they were on fire. So, in totality, 3 good teams. 2 of those teams made the playoffs. One team fell off tremendously. But the point is, they didn't have a mishap where it's like, damn, the Seahawks lost to the Colts with a backup quarterback. It's like, wow, that's really bad. Yeah, so and to me, that was a turning point because for years I had seen that bad team that came into Seattle, or that team that Seattle traveled to, they just didn't have a good game plan, whatever the case may have been, they end up losing. So that was my turning point, and that kind of alludes back to your statement, Mike, in terms of just the growth of this team and how well they've been playing, and from offense to the defense, it's just been a complete unit.
Yeah, I will share this because some people are probably wondering. I did have one player predict they beat their ass.
We should be surprised.
I did have
They're
one.
confident.
I did have one. Yeah, it's crazy though. That was only the one guy. I've been asking guys all week, coaches too. How you feeling?
And I bet you it was a defensive player. I would throw a plus. If I had money on, I'd throw $10,000 on it. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Now I'm nervous because Mike's like, dang, was it an offensive player? We'll leave it alone. You ain't got to answer. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I will tell you guys which player was when
after. There you go.
Oh,
Mike, did you get a chance to talk to Jax about? Oh my gosh, shoot, Eric Wall. He had a great question. Never mind. They have to win. I remember now. I'll do it. I'll talk to you after the show about it. Don't worry. I remember what it was. But
yeah,
is there anything else? I think we got it. I think we hit it all.
No, yeah. The other thing I was gonna
Oh,
say
one more.
is
Okay.
that yeah, the other thing I've been surprised by is when I talk to people who cover the Patriots or around the Patriots, or I think there's like ex-Patriots players here or people from Boston. It's weird, man. They don't think they're gonna win. I'm not getting any good vibes from anybody on the Patriots side of those people who follow the Patriots. They're like hopeful. Like when I get asked questions by Patriots people, or just getting convos of Patriots people, or even just national people, not even on the Patriots side, like it's like, but actually, I'll just stay with the Patriots real quick. It's more so like if the Seahawks were to slip up somewhere, where would it be? It's definitely not like it doesn't feel like we're watching the preview of a fair fight. It's so overwhelmingly, at least I've been here for like 3.5 days. Yeah, 3.5 days. Damn, I've been here super long. Uh, it's definitely a lot of yeah. Nah, hopefully the Patriots can pull something out their ass.
Mm.
Everyone is very high on the Seahawks, and the only people I've been talking to who don't think the Seahawks are going to win is like people who are Niners fans. Or
Shocker.
Rams fans. I'm meeting people from LA, like, yeah, I'm a Rams fan. Hope the Patriots beat their ass. I was like, okay, well, I understand why you're going off emotion. So I'm ignoring that because that's emotion. That's not facts. That's not data. That's not film. That's not anything. And so, I mean, I've been spending a lot of time trying to get to know the other side of this and talk. It's crazy how many people I know that cover the Patriots. I didn't realize that until I get down here. I'm like, oh, I remember you from the combine. I know you. Oh man, you're in Boston now. It's crazy. There's a lot of people that cover the Patriots. So, uh, and even like I said, even people who don't cover them are like from Boston. I just told Chris this story before we recorded. I met this guy today. I don't even know what he does, but he's from Boston. He told me that, and I was like, oh yeah, it's all good, bro. I'm not really worried about nobody from Boston. It was good. Nice to meet you, black dude. Um, and he mentions like, yeah, I'm getting out here on Friday. I was like, whoa, you're not staying for the game? He's like, I don't want to see that massacre.
Mm.
I said, damn. And he's again, this is a lot of people who feel that way. It's odd how confident everyone seems to be saying this might be a beatdown. I don't know, Chris. I just can't get on board with that. I feel like I just have too much respect for a well-coached team to get beat down. But that is something else that has stood out is people who have like studied the film, whether they're fans, national analysts on the Patriots side. It's a lot of yeah. Uh is Drew Lock gonna play? Then maybe the Patriots quit. Like it's definitely not a lot of confidence on the Patriots side of things. Now I haven't talked to no Patriots players or coaches. I'm sure they feel they're gonna win. Duh. But everyone else, it does feel like there's a sentiment. Like there's been most people to come up to me on the national side of things and be like, "Yeah, what do you think?" I tell them my thoughts on the game. I think it'll be close. They're like, "I don't know, man. I think the Seahawks can whoop their ass." It's like, wait, why does everyone think this? And everyone's just so comfortable saying it. I don't know. I feel like maybe I don't know. Are we overthinking it? I just feel it's interesting that I'm at the Super Bowl right now, and so many people are just very certain the Seahawks are going to win.
You know, you look at the top offenses that are in the playoffs, and the last one standing, I think, was the Los Angeles Rams. Like the Buffalo Bills, they were strong, but it was really just Josh Allen wearing his cape, and that's really what it came down to.
I mean,
Outside of that,
James Cook could run the ball for sure.
they could, but it wasn't. The offensive line wasn't what it was last year. I don't think in terms. I know he had he had a good season though. Don't get it twisted. Like Cook was doing his thing, but I think they really just needed Josh to be Superman and make a lot of plays, and he made a lot of plays. His receiver didn't really help him that much. Receivers, excuse me, but I think in terms of totality, the Rams was the best bet, and everyone was talking about that NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl. And yeah, I'm not overlooking the Patriots, but I do believe that the receivers the Patriots have just are not Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Like that's and the Seahawks players obviously feel that they feel that. They're like, yo, we went up against one of one, like the best at their position, right with JSN. No disrespect to Keyshawn, Mr. Booty, Stephon Diggs, and the rest of those guys. But
that's your guy now, Mr. Booty. He has replaced Juwan Jennings as being your guy, at least for this week. It's Mr. Booty. We went from Juan to Booty.
This is crazy. but Mac Hollins as well. And I just think they feel that they're about to strap up, which sounds crazy saying that out loud. Good Lord.
Yeah, they're gonna strap up booty. Is that what you're saying? Because that
Jesus,
sounds
man.
ridiculous.
We gotta wrap this, man. This is insane. I am just stating that I think the DBs are just confident. The defensive line, they believe they're gonna get after Drake May, stay in their rushing lanes, and get after him. He's been sacked 15 times this postseason. The Seahawks are watching the tape thinking, oh, we can do that and then some. And then you got Ernest Jones, who's had a really strong season, made the second team made the all pro second team. I think this team is just full of confidence that they've earned. Not that they are bragging in terms of that nature about what they've done, but it's all on tape. When you go watch the tape, you put these two teams together, are you really saying that it's going to be close? I mean, sure, because you know the Patriots aren't going to come out and just lay down. They're going to have a game plan. They're going to try to do things that can disrupt what the Seahawks defense is bringing. But at the same time, it's like, man, this defense the Seahawks got is really freaking good. Like, I guess it's just a wait and see for me and you. We got to wait and see what happens. Could it be a blowout? Sure. Do we think it's going to be a blowout? No, because, yeah, I do have respect for that Patriots offense and what they can do. But at the same time, like, damn, is it really going to be up to par? The Patriots defense, it's really good. Are they really going to be able to slow down Sam Darnold in this offense? With JSN, Rashid Shaheed, who there's just so many weapons. Like, on paper, the Seahawks are so loaded. So loaded. Do the Patriots have enough to make it a tight game? But we'll have to wait and see. I think they do. I'm just hoping for a great game. I don't want to see a 43-8 blowout because, my God, that means by halftime, I'm like, all right, well, this is over, Mike.
So I want to share like 3 nuggets before we get out of here. One, it sounds like Clint deserves a lot of credit. Remember I mentioned he gave credit to Mac Brown for the Jack's touchdown. Sounds like Clint deserves a lot of credit for the Bobo touchdown in the NFC Championship game. It just sounds like that was like one of his concoctions of just not like it's a super complicated play, just a little post in the red zone. But it was one of those examples of like Clint just like getting his guys to believe they could make plays in big moments, even if they haven't been called up on. Because we've seen that a lot in the defense. Like Ty Okada has to play now, or Tyrese Knight, or you know, or whoever. Shaquille Griffin had to get in there, and maybe if Nehemiah has had to play or whatever. We haven't seen it much on offense outside of like Josh Jones stepping in for Charles. But that was an example of like, yeah, Jake ain't been up. We're about to call this play for Jake to score because we see a mismatch. Jake runs posts really well. As you guys know on this show, we're big Jake Bobo route running fans. That route was incredible. He's bigger than Kobe Durant. Like, it was just very clear. Okay, we see something with Jake. Jake runs this route really well. Sure, Jake hasn't played much, but we believe in Jake so much. We know he's going to make this play. It's just perfect. Like, same thing with Cody White against the Commanders too. It's just like, we know Cody can do this. So shout out to Clint for stuff like that. You know, so something that guys mentioned to me when I talk about him becoming a head coach. It's just like he just knows when to press the right buttons a lot of the time. The other one, man, I just loved the conversation I had with Derek Young today, all on the record, about Jay Harbaugh, special teams coach, and how we were going through like some of the, not in great detail, but just like some of the big special teams plays they've had. Rashid's return, block punt they had, I think, against the Saints, punt return against the Saints, I think, as well. Just going through, and he was just like, yeah, all that stuff is based on what the coaches do to put us in position. All film study. And I was like, man, you don't associate much film study with special teams. And I was like, man, I'm a big examples guy. So one of them that really stuck out to me, Chris, was the punt returner who fumbled against in the NFC Championship game.
Oh, Xavier Smith.
Xavier Smith, yeah. So I was like, okay. I was like, wait, that's a fumble. How did that work? He was like, well, Jay pointed out during the game that, or in film, it was like guys on punt return usually check out who the gunners are. They check them out in real time, like when the ball's in the air, like once or twice. Apparently, Jay saw on film, or one of their coaches saw on film, special teams, maybe Jay and one of his assistants, that this guy, he likes to look multiple times, like 4 or 5 times. So they were like, oh, okay, let's put some air on that ball. Eventually, he'll take his eyes off of it. He'll probably drop it. Boom. And it's like that level of detail. It's like, man, I love that nugget. And maybe he shared it before and I didn't get it. I haven't talked to Tariq much this year, but I just was like fascinated by that whole combo, that type of nuggets. Like that's the type of detail we're working with this team, down to how many times the punt returner looks at the goddamn gunners. Like that's just, maybe that's normal. And I just haven't talked to enough special teams coordinators, but I loved that. So I just wanted to share that. It's just been, it's crazy. And then the last thing is, I have made very clear something I've talked about this week. I've made very clear something I've talked on the show about a lot. Ken Walker and me, and as a fantasy owner of Ken Walker. And I got some coaches to basically acknowledge, oh yeah, no, we knew the only thing holding Ken back from going crazy was just how often we put him on the field. It's like, we know if we put him out there, he was going to do this, like at this rate. And I'm just like, God damn, I could have used this insight on August, whenever, when Chris and I were at this live draft that we had, or whichever fantasy league I had Ken in. So anyway, I brought that up because Ken is balling. Ken's going to be a big part of the plan on Sunday. And I would just been expressing my frustration because you guys will listen to the show. You know, I'd be pissed that Ken ain't getting no touches. And he's got them. I'm so mad. And I was bringing that up to people, and they're like, y'all know, we feel you. Like, Ken, now he's been playing better as well, but by his own admission too. But it's also just a matter of fact of they know, yeah, if we'd have been putting him out there more, he definitely would have been doing this. But they love Zach, of course. But boy, it's got my blood boiling to hear that you guys know you were basically just not playing this guy who's super cold, and you knew he could be just cold if you gave him the ball more. It was crazy. I'm really still sick for Zach that he doesn't get to play in this game. I want to make that very clear.
That's called malpractice, by the way.
Yeah, I'm very sick for Zach. I want to make that very clear. However, boy, it would have been nice to see Ken do some of this stuff earlier in the year. But I'm just very, very happy for Ken as well. Because another thing that stood out about that Tariq conversation, I asked him about his draft class. I've been asking a lot of guys about their draft classes, so it wasn't just Tariq. I've been asking guys in the 2024 class about each other, 2023 class. I've been asking Shaq about hanging with or like seeing Jay Reed and being on a team with Quandre again. But what Tariq was talking about, which may be more specific to his class, which is like, yeah, man, I was like, do you guys have a moment? It was like, oh, look, our 2022 class is in the Super Bowl. He's like, man, we have a moment every day. Like, we cherish each other every day. And then this is like the perfect send-off because they're all smart enough to know they're all not going to be back. So to recap, Tariq's class is Charles, Ken, Boye, Abe, Kobe, Reek. And I think that class also had Tyreek Smith and Bo Melton. If I without looking it up, I believe that's the class. And so, of course, they know that Tariq's contract is up, Ken's contract is up, Boye's contract is up, Kobe's contract is up, Reek's contract is up. There's no, even if John loved all of them like his own sons, you just can't keep everybody. It's just you can't. And so he was just like, yeah, this is the perfect send-off. Let's go ball out together, win a chip. Probably not all going to be on the team together next year. And let's go do this for one another. It's just a lot of that sentiment, too, of just like guys realizing, all right, we got to the end. And the guys that are in here wearing these matching sweatsuits that are fire, by the way, we're all just not going to be here together next year. Whether you're on the practice squad, you're hurt, whatever, you're a free agent, some guys can get traded. There's just this understanding. It's like we're going into this last ride as like a family. And that just also makes me feel like these guys are just going to win this game. I'm sure the Patriots, you could go find the Patriots pod. I'm probably going to be on some this week. There's similar sentiments being expressed, mixed with some Cardi B lyrics and some very lovable content from the Patriots side. I'm not naive to that. I read a lot of stories about both teams. I don't know, Chris. I just feel something. There's a strong connection here. It's a very strong connection. On top of them just being the more talented team, that's been my takeaway from being down here. Guys are just very locked in, very confident, very respectful of the Patriots, but also just dying to go out there and do this for their brother. Everybody's got their little different motivation. I was talking to Nico Thorpe today. It's like, man, Coach Thorpe could be a Super Bowl champ. You know, a lot of the young guys like Nicky Moore could be a Super Bowl champ in his first year. You know, he's dealing with the ankle thing that just came out right before we recorded. By the time you guys hear this, we'll probably get more news. But I'll tell you right now, before the news comes out, unless Nick's ankle is no longer attached to his leg, I would be very surprised if he does not play in this game. But yeah, down the line, it's just a lot of just strong motivation to go out here and get this done. Everyone has their own little motivation, and whether you're a Cooper Cup or whatever, but it just feels like also the motivation is do what we do, put belt to ass, become Super Bowl champions. It's just hard for me to envision a scenario where that does not happen on Sunday, Chris.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. They should handle business. So we're getting closer and closer to the last game of the season. Seahawks Patriots, Super Bowl 60. Should be a fun one, but it also could get very nasty on that football field. But like I said, we don't have to wait too much longer for it. We'll come back with another preview. We got a special guest coming up, and we will dive into that. Should be a fun one. You guys have seen him before. He's been around the block on the pod, so it'll be fun to chop it up with him. We'll talk a little bit about the Patriots defense, Seahawks defense, Drake May versus Sam Darnold. So, yeah, it should be a fun one. Mike, I know you got books. Did you get any chance to sell any of them while you've been out there?
Not yet. It sounds like a lot of fans are going to be at some of the fan experience things that are this weekend. So if you will be at the game or you just be around, you're coming to some of these events at the media center. It's like the Moscone, whatever, however it's pronounced. If you can't get in, I will be down there Friday, Saturday. My hotel's not too far away. So just let me know. I know some people already have messaged me. I'll be down there. Hit me up. If you got a book, I'll come sign it. If you need a book, I got books on me. So yeah, man. I got books. I just ordered some more as well. Back up at home. My wife's gonna pick those up. So books on books on books on books. So get your book. Hit me up. I may be slow to respond while I'm out here because I'm busy, but I will get back to you. Typically at night. So if you need a book, let me know. Holla at me. I got you.
There it is. Enjoy the rest of the week. We will talk to you later. We are out.